But Sean, let's move into our final topic, and what we are looking at is a little bit of NFL draft. We didn't get enough draft with the whole Giants topic that we had at the beginning. We had to talk more draft.
We're less than a month away.
We are. After this month, this is actually the last podcast of March, I believe. So it's really from here on out, we've got next week, we'll have the Primetime Podcast. We'll have the NFL Big Board. Mm-hmm. Then that next week, it's Mark and I's final mock draft. Then the next week on the website, we have my full 7-round mock draft for every single team. Kind of Todd McShay style, where I'm not going to go first round, second round. It's just going to be Browns, here's all your picks.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's draft week is what we've got. So really, we're in the final kind of snowball for the NFL draft. And then we've got the live stream.
Yeah, what news is going to come out, and then we got the Dave and I live stream. It's going to be
the Dave and you live stream. We've got what I'm hoping for is ideally that night then we would do what you guys did for the fast break. Do a first round podcast that night. That day is going to be crazy in itself.
It's fun.
Johnny and I, just to pull back the curtain a little bit, Johnny and I at 6 are going to see Avengers that night. Johnny and I then are going to record the review for that night. Then I want to record the first round mock draft podcast that night. Well, not mock draft. The first round draft recap that night. Full day. I took off the day on Friday because I'm like, screw it. I got to do it. Got to give you guys the content. But what I want to look at is a guy that we haven't looked at in a while. I wanted to do this about a couple weeks ago, gave Mark the decision of topics, and then Mark picked one and this one hit the cutting room floor. Last time I think we talked about him was when Brandon and I did kind of a Mason Rudolph versus him.
That's been a while.
It's been a while. Lamar Jackson. And the thing I want to look at with Lamar is best fits for him. What teams would be the most ideal fit for Lamar Jackson? So how we do on usually those, we just start with one team. I'm going to let you start. Who's the best fit? One of the best fits for Lamar Jackson.
I think the best fit for him overall might be to go to Arizona. Okay. I think that Arizona, we talked about them in the Giants segment, talking about them possibly moving up to 2. Obviously, if they move up to 2, they're not going to be taking Lamar Jackson, but I think Arizona could be a nice place for him to develop. It's not going to be a very high-pressure media situation. Arizona's a pretty laid-back town. You're going to have a great wide receiver and great wide receiver help in Larry Fitzgerald, one of the all-time greats. And then it's also a new coach as well, bringing in a new regime. I know that he is a defensive mind from Carolina, but I think that Lamar Jackson being able to really make his own ideas out in Arizona really doesn't have to deal with any pressure of a legacy quarterback like an Eli Manning out there, or a Big Ben if he goes to Pittsburgh.
Kurt Warner is not a legacy in the all-time history books.
Warner hasn't been there for years,
Exactly.
Ricky. Sam Bradford might not even be there for 3 games. So again, Lamar Jackson,
he'll be there, just might not be healthy.
Yeah, might not be playing. And I can make these jokes since he's no longer on the Vikings, but. I think Lamar Jackson needs to be in a situation where there's not a ton of pressure on him. Not really because he can't handle it, just more because I think it's going to be best for his development, because then you won't have the media constantly being like, oh, he should be a wide receiver. It's going to be something where he can really grow and develop, and eyes won't be on him unless it's primetime or the playoffs.
Well, really the thing is, when it comes to Lamar Jackson, it's because if the Cardinals don't trade up, then they'll be in prime position. I think 15 down, there are a couple teams where the Cardinals could be one that go after him. The Saints could be one that goes after him. Maybe Cincinnati at 21. Maybe. Besides that, I don't really see many teams taking a quarterback in the first round. When it comes to Arizona, like you were talking about, the thing I like, and ideally Sam Bradford would be healthy the whole year. If Sam Bradford can kind of go shades of his first year in Minnesota and stay healthy, then you don't need Lamar Jackson to be on the field and be a starting quarterback. You can let him learn at least a year, kind of fix some of the things and get used to an NFL game, and then that second year you can throw him out and be your starter.
One thing you said, though, I got to say, not so fast, my friend, a little Lee Corso. I think that teams late in the first round could totally be looking for a quarterback. I mean, we look at these teams. Not only can teams trade back in to try to get a guy that they want, but also we look at these late teams, Pittsburgh, New England. These teams aren't going to have their quarterbacks for a long time. They're going to need a quarterback. They need to really take over the reins. After Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger leave. So
Big
looking
Ben,
at those,
he's always talking about retirement.
Exactly. And looking at Lamar Jackson, I really think that he's a guy that can be an NFL quarterback. His athleticism is unreal, but it's got a really good arm. I mean, he doesn't have a powerful arm in the sense of, Josh Allen, where Josh Allen's throwing like 62 miles per hour. Where I think
70-yard bombs at the combine.
Yeah, where I think Lamar Jackson was clocked in around like 50 miles per hour, at least with his arm speed. So he's not going to have like a massive cannon like Josh Allen, but he's got an NFL level arm. I mean, it's not anything that he's going to be, limping balls out there like Christian Hackenberg. He's going to have the ability to get the ball down the field, and then also pairing that with his speed to move around in the pocket and creating space for himself to pass. I think it's going to be something that, again, he has all the tools, the physical gifts to be an NFL quarterback. Again, it's just the size that worries me, and that's really the only worries I have about Lamar Jackson. But again, he's not a pick that, he's not a Josh Allen who's 6'6" or 6'5" that has mobility and also a cannon of an arm. He's not Sam Darnold, who's a crazy great athlete. He's not a great football mind like Josh Rosen. He's just a great football player. And
he's an athlete.
Yeah, and I think that teams like Pittsburgh and New England might be able to realize that. And again, we look at Aaron Rodgers. He wasn't a crazy prospect coming out of the draft. I mean, he was a first-round prospect, but again, he went 24th overall. But the Packers realize that he is a quarterback, he's a football player. And I think that if Pittsburgh and New England realize that, and knowing their history of just developing players, they could take a shot at him and be like, all right, you are our next guy. You have the ability to grow and work on your accuracy and your arm strength, but you're also going to be working under two great minds in Big Ben and in Tom Brady.
Let me put it this way. One thing I forgot about, I just looked it up. This Thursday is Louisville's Pro Day. You know what question I forgot to ask you at the very beginning of the segment?
Yeah, buddy.
At the Combine, they asked Lamar Jackson. They said, you're not running the 40 today. When you run the 40 at your Pro Day, what time are you going to run? He said 4.3. Does he hit 4.3 on Thursday at the Pro Day? Does he come to fruition and say, I am running a 4.340?
If he hits a 4.3, that is going to shoot him up boards. I mean, because not only is that going to make him viable, again, I know people hate to bring this up. I don't think he's going to be a wide receiver in the NFL.
Well, that's why he didn't run at the Combine. Yeah. He didn't want to be a wide receiver.
I don't think he's going to be a wide receiver in the NFL, but God forbid he just doesn't pan out. If he has 4.3 speed, he could turn into a wide receiver. So
Terrell Pryor-esque?
A little bit different because Terrell Pryor wasn't a quarterback.
But I mean, that same kind of like quarterback to wide receiver, or like Braxton Miller, quarterback, wide receiver.
Yeah, but I mean, Braxton was drafted as a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Terrell Pryor they wanted him to be a quarterback because he had the body, but I mean, he wasn't a quarterback. Like, he couldn't be an NFL quarterback. I know, again, he has that 98-yard touchdown run, but again.
Is it weird that both, unless my memory is lapsing here, both of those Ohio State guys too, right?
Yeah.
Braxton Miller and Terrell Pryor going to wide receiver.
But with Lamar Jackson, I think that, again, he has the ability to be a quarterback in the NFL. And I think that if teams realize that and want to commit him, because the one thing, too, is he's going to be motivated. He wants to prove everybody wrong. That's a big thing in the NFL. When you have guys that are this talented, again, if he's a 4.3, if he's running a 4.3 as a quarterback, that's unheard of. So, I mean, you're getting a next-generation athlete with a mindset of, hey, I want to prove everybody wrong. That could lead to all-time great status. Again, I'm not saying that Lamar Jackson is going to be an all-time great, but if you put him in the right system, say New England, he has that motivation like an a la Tom Brady did, coming up to Robert Kraft saying this is the best pick you ever made as a 6th-round draft pick. If he has that mindset of, I need to prove everybody wrong, that's going to boast him in front of everybody else in this QB class. So that possibly puts him, again, back up to maybe top 15 status. But again, if he falls late in the first round, I could totally see a team taking a shot at him.
Here's my team. My first team that I would love to see him go to, the New Orleans Saints. Not only is it the first thing very simple, they play in a dome. 8 games are in a dome. Mike Vick, who's the NFL comparison on NFL.com for Lamar Jackson. I know it's easy. Yeah. But Mike Vick played in a dome. You get those type of players in a dome, not having to worry about the weather, not having to worry about slipping on the turf. They're going to be fast. Another thing that's going to really help him is RPOs. Being in a system that's going to run play ops. What better system than, hey, let's do that with Ingram, with Kamara, with the wide receivers that they have out there in New Orleans. I get that they have Drew Brees. I get it. You're going to sit behind Drew Brees until Drew is done. But that's even better. You get to sit there and learn, and then when you come out, we've got all these guys, we've got the weapons for you, and we're in a prime stadium for you to succeed.
And also in the Drew Brees mindset, I'll call him Brew Brees mindset, Brew was saying,
You're just gonna call him Brew the rest of the podcast.
Again, Brew had that mindset as well of saying, hey, I need to prove everybody wrong. Was kicked out of San Diego. He was small.
Almost went to Miami to play for Nick Saban.
Yeah, and he was a small guy, wanted to prove everybody wrong. And I think back to the Dan Patrick when he's reading off his negatives in his draft profile. He takes that. Like that was back in 2000, and he's still trying to work on himself.
Can I keep this?
Yeah,
motivation.
Love that. I absolutely love that. So that's something that, again, if you want to compare him, or if you want to put him in a system, not only where he can learn from a great offensive mind, Sean Payton, put him in an offensive-minded coach that's going to put him in the best system, and also work under a guy who's been in the same shoes, it's a great fit. But, again, will they want to address that? I mean, again, that's a Saints team that doesn't have a lot of holes.
Yeah.
That you could take a chance at a guy like Lamar Jackson if you believe in him. One thing, I'm going along the same line, thought process of you, but it's a little bit out there. It's a little bit more, we're going to connect a lot of tissues and a lot of things have to go right for this to happen.
Is this what you were telling me? You kind of teased this to me before we started recording?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, this is going to take a lot, and you might not like it because it involves some Minnesota Vikings.
Okay.
I was thinking, all right, we need a great offensive mind. We need a guy who can run RPOs. We need a guy.
You're taking DiFilippo away from me, aren't you?
Shut up. We need a guy that's going to be smart. We need a guy that's going to be an up and coming great NFL head coach. So what happens is, Le'Veon Bell, is he going to play this year? Oh, it's really going to hurt that Pittsburgh offense. Oh no, Big Ben, he's breaking down. He's getting hurt. You don't have that leader in the middle in Pittsburgh. And Mike Tomlin goes 7-9 in the AFC North. Not only finishes behind the Baltimore Ravens, who win the division, he also finishes behind the Browns because they win the tiebreaker.
Wow.
Mike Tomlin gets fired. John DeFlippio comes over.
And becomes their head coach.
Who did they draft in the first round last year?
Lamar Jackson.
And Big Ben retires. He has Antonio Brown to throw to. Le'Veon Bell repairs his relationship with the Modell family, Heinz Field, and Pittsburgh. He comes back on RPO of Lamar Jackson, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown.
I mean, even without the Tomlin firing, I would not mind it if the Steelers drafted Lamar Jackson.
No, that's why it wouldn't be bad because he's still there.
Like you need an option to Big Ben calling it quits, and it's kind of the proactive reactive, or of are we going to be proactive? Draft a guy at 28th overall to be like, all right, Ben, when you do call it quits, we'll have a guy, or are we going to be reactive? All right, he called it quits. Now we're going to go ahead and get our guy. I've got a different scenario for you, and I don't know if I'm in love with this scenario, but it could work. So there's a team drafting 5th overall that could use a quarterback. However, whenever you ask John Elway, whether you ask Vance Joseph, I've already given away the team, it's the Denver Broncos. Whenever you ask them, they go, Case Keenum's our guy. Yeah. Case Keenum's our guy. It's a dream that he's here. Case Keenum's our guy. Chances of Denver getting to 5, with me, how the top 4 works out, if a guy like Bradley Chubb is there, if a guy like Quentin Nelson is there at 5, them saying, no, Baker Mayfield, no, Josh Rosen, we are going to pass on you guys. We're going to take the offensive line help because we could definitely need it. We're going to take the edge rush if that offensive lineman is not there because the Giants go ahead and take him.
Yeah.
And then later in the first, they, with a package of their 40th pick, a la what the Seahawks and the Vikings did a few years ago.
To get Teddy.
The Broncos trade up back into the first round late on draft night and take Lamar Jackson to back up Case Keenum until... Notice how all of my teams, it's until he's ready to take over a job, because I think the best ideal situation for Lamar Jackson is one that's not going to throw him in right away.
But also one thing, too, is, let's look at the NFL. How many teams desperately need a franchise quarterback? Dallas has Dak. Right now, New York's saying they're sticking with Eli for the next 2 years. Philly has 2, apparently, and Nick Foles and Carson Wentz. Washington has Alex Smith, who they just signed for 5 years. Chicago Bears have Jesus 2.0 and Mitch. Detroit has Stafford. Packers have Rodgers. Vikings have Kirk. Falcons have Ryan. Panthers have Newton. I'm going to go through this because there's literally no Newton. Saints have Breeze, but we mention him again until he's ready. Tampa has Jameis, and we'll see how long that sticks because, Jameis hasn't been fantastic.
I think the shorter list is who doesn't.
Exactly. Arizona. We'll throw New York in just because that's one.
You're saying the Jets?
Both.
Yeah.
The Giants and Jets.
I'm going to throw in Miami because Tannehill coming off of an injury, and how confident are they in Tannehill?
But if he's healthy,
yeah.
Ryan Tannehill was great in the first year with Adam Gase.
And one of the things that I was going to throw out is with Buffalo, what if they don't work out a deal to trade up? Then at 12, that might be too high to take Lamar. Do they take something else at 12 and then Lamar at 22?
Yes, that could happen. But again, I'm in the mindset of if you love a quarterback, take him because he might not be there because someone might trade up.
So you're saying take Lamar at 12. Take Lamar at 12 if you like him.
If you love him. So let's talk about this because what time are we at?
We got time.
Okay. All right. So at 1, we're thinking Browns go QB, going Sam Darnold. 2, are we gonna say are we saying a team trades up and goes up and gets him?
I'm gonna say the Giants. Right now, if I had to pick, the Giants stay there, and the Giants will go with Bradley Chubb.
Okay. So then Jets are going quarterback.
Well, Saquon.
Okay.
Yeah, Saquon.
Okay. Then Jets are going quarterback. Let's say they go Allen because I think I've heard that they've liked his arm.
2 off the board.
So Browns aren't going another quarterback. Broncos are iffy, but if Quentin Nelson is there, they'll most likely go there. Colts aren't taking one. Bucks aren't taking one. Bears aren't taking one. Niners aren't taking one. Oakland's not taking one.
Miami
and then
could.
Miami. So, really, there's a long list until you start hitting those quarterback runs where it's 11, 12. At the Dolphins and Bills, they need quarterbacks. So right there, at that point, with the Bills being on the clock, so then what? That's 4 quarterbacks off the board. So that'd be Darnold, Allen, Rosen, and Baker if we're going with most people's top 4.
So the Bills could technically get one of those top 4 even at 12.
Yeah. So then at 15 are the Cardinals. So that's where Lamar could that would probably be where I would say that 11, 12, 15 spot are the earliest Lamar Jackson could go.
And an interesting team that I've always written off because I don't think that they would go quarterback, but every single article I see for a best fit for Lamar Jackson has this team on it. Do you see Cincinnati drafting a quarterback, especially in the first? Because I don't.
No, I don't see that happening.
Andy Dalton, people might be upset with Andy Dalton and might be upset with what the Bengals are right now, but it's not Andy Dalton's fault. It's that head coach that you keep giving contracts to.
Cincinnati's so backwards because they can keep saying, we're not Cleveland. Literally, we're not Cleveland. Oh, hey, we haven't made the playoffs, but at least we're not Cleveland. Hey, we're the better city. At least we're not Cleveland.
How does Marvin Lewis still have a job?
No, but that's the thing. Is they're a better city.
How does he have a job?
They're more well off than Cleveland is right now, both from an economic standpoint and team wise. But they're not great. But they can keep saying, "Hey, look at the little brother. We're, hey, he's a meth head in the back seat. We at least have a job at McDonald's."
Are the Browns the meth head? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and then the Bengals are the night shift manager at McDonald's. So they have a job at least, but it's something crazy. He's still living in mom's basement.
At least I'm not on drugs.
Exactly.
That's basically what they're saying.
Well, the hard stuff.
Yeah.
So with the Bengals, they're backwards enough to where they think Andy Dalton's the future, and I don't think they're gonna take another quarterback because they just had AJ McCarron and they didn't trade him. They didn't get anything for him. They let him walk.
Didn't get the paperwork in on time.
Let him walk.
Didn't get the paperwork in on time.
Totally see the Bengals not taking a quarterback, not getting a backup, and taking a 6th-round pick from Duquesne's. Or Duquesne's, whatever that fucking school's called. Taking a school from taking a quarterback from an NAIA school, taking a guy from Marion.
Okay.
I could see the Bengals totally screwing it up. I think they need a quarterback because I don't trust an Andy Dalton.
Are they the Browns? Are they the Browns 2.0, the future Browns, the future cellar dwellers in the
up? So if
AFC North,
if the Browns were a common gun in Fortnite. Bengals are the what's a one up? It'd be green.
Is it the blue?
It'd be a green
the
gun.
green, then the blue,
then
the
blue,
purple,
then
the orange.
Gold.
Is it gold?
It's gold.
Okay.
But yeah, they'd be the green pistol.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of an upgrade.
You're not that much better, but it's at least I'm using this over the
It looks
white.
better in the bar. You know, it looks better, but you're still gonna get killed because you're using a pistol.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah.
You've been winning a lot of Fortnite games.
I got. This is totally off tangent. So I got to I was in top
Final
three.
three?
I was in top 3.
All right.
And I was going up against this guy. Such BS, man. Because I was trying to heal, and the guy hit me with a rocket, and I threw my controller and broke it. So
we got to play with
$50
Jake
on that.
sometime. We got to squad up.
He hasn't accepted my friend request, so shout out to Jake. He doesn't watch these.
You, man. That's
he only watches the fast break.
Well, I mean, he should be venturing over.
Getting back on track.
Yeah.
Again, like 11, 12, 15, I think are the earliest Lamar Jackson can go. But then after that, 17 Chargers. We consistently talk about them trying to get a quarterback for the future.
I don't know if they do.
Again, but that I'm just saying, like that's a possibility.
It depends on who's there too. Like if a Vita Vea is there for some reason, they're not going quarterback. They're going Vita Vea.
Yeah, and then we'll look at the Saints at 27. Then, so it's like. So it's really probably 11 if this order holds true. 11, 12, 15. Then we threw in 22 again just because it's the Bills. We'll throw in 17. And then I would probably say 27, 28, and then 31 are the spots that he could go in the first round. But I think he's a first-round quarterback. It's just really where is he going to fall? Because at some point, someone's going to trade up and get him.
Last thing I'm going to ask him. I am unsure on this because to me, there are 3 answers to this question. It's either 4, 5, or 6. How many quarterbacks go in the first round on the first night of the draft? 4, 5, or 6. So it's basically
I want to make sure.
The top 4, which would be Darnold, Allen, Baker, and Rosen.
Yes.
And then if it's 5, then Lamar gets taken. If it's 6, Mason Rudolph gets taken also.
5.
All right.
I don't think Mason Rudolph's going number in the first round.
You don't think like if let's say Lamar's the 5th and he goes off the board at 15, that a team like the Saints, the Pittsburgh, the Patriots take a Mason Rudolph at the end of the first to make it 6 in the first round?
If the Patriots take Mason Rudolph in the first round, I will throw up. Like that.
Like
that don't want Mason Rudolph.
Hey man, that might be good for the live stream then. Seeing Sean just throw up.
I think
we can gain a lot of subscribers with that. Sean.
I think there are 5 first-round quarterbacks. I think there's 5 quarterbacks that go in the top 15 in Jackson, and then those 4 other guys. I could even see Jackson going in front of Baker. And I think even Schefter tweeted out that some team has Lamar Jackson as their 2nd-rated quarterback. Again, they might not be the 15. In the top 15 best players in this draft overall. But again, quarterback's the most important position, so that's going to change that draft completely. You need to get the guy that's going to change your quarterback. Minkah Fitzpatrick might be a fantastic safety, might be an all-time safety, but we've seen these guys. Let's just look at Brian Urlacher, a guy that just was never able to win a Super Bowl, being one of the best linebackers of all time, and not being able to win a Super Bowl because he didn't have a quarterback. Like, you can have these game changers on defense. You can have these game changers on the offensive line. Like a Joe Thomas, who made 10 All-Pros, never had a quarterback, made it to the playoffs once, right? With Derek Anderson, did they make the playoffs that year?
Don't think so.
I don't think Joe Thomas made the playoffs. So, like, you can have these game changers. You can have these all-time greats on your team. But if you have a quarterback, it's not going to do anything. So you need to take a quarterback. That's what's going to change this. I know people are saying, like, I wouldn't take Lamar Jackson in the top 30. Well, you're going just based off numbers. You're not going based off of, like, you're going based off who's the best, who's, like, off that. I see guys consistently on draft Twitter just saying, oh, Lamar Jackson isn't even a top 50 player in the draft. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, Joe Thomas has never made the playoffs.
It's about position. It's about how that player can change your team. And yes, Bradley Chubb might be an all-time great when it comes to rushing the quarterback, but if you don't have a quarterback that's going to put up points, you're not going to the playoffs. So that's the reason why these guys might not be conventional top 15 picks, but those top 15 picks are going to win you playoff games. So
the last time the Browns made the playoffs, it was...
Was I born?
It was 12 days before my 13th birthday. It was January 5th, 2003.
Okay. So I was 6.
You were 6.
No, I was 5 because that was January.
Yeah.
I was 5 years old.
So that was, like I said, 12 days before my 13th. Like, that was me. What grade was I in? So January of 13, I would have been 7th grade. 7th grade, the last time the Browns made the playoffs. And they lost to the Steelers in that first round game.
Makes sense.
They lost to the Steelers. Let me click on the box score. What was the score of that game? That score was 36-33. The 11-5-1 Steelers beat the 9-8 Cleveland Browns.
And the last time before that was January 1st, 1995, where my mom was 2 years away from having me. Yeah. And on her, 20th birthday.
I was 4 years old at the time because it was before my birthday then, too, when the last time. They've only made it to the playoffs twice in my lifetime, and I don't remember one of them for sure. I'm sure I remember watching the 2002, 2003 one, but I don't really remember it. But this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you guys think down below. Lamar Jackson, who is his best fit in the NFL? Where do you think he is going to go? And also, what if you see this before Thursday? What's going to be, is it going to be before Thursday? No,
It's
this
Thursday.
will, if you listen to the full podcast, you will listen to this before Thursday. If you're catching this on YouTube, he will have already ran his 40-yard time
Oh, yeah.
because this will go up Friday.
I'm going to say 4.41.
Okay, so close.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 4.3. He's a man of his word.
A
He's gonna do it.
4.3 is insane.
He's going to do it, though.
Like,
He's going to do it
insane.
and instantly become we are going to be talking about should he be taken over one of the top 4 because of it.
I think, like, if memory serves me correctly, I think the fastest recently was, like, Mariota, who ran, like, a 4.5. Like, there's not
You're
a lot
talking
of,
just quarterbacks.
like, good quarterbacks. Like, good quarterbacks. I'm not saying, like, some guy from Pitt who turned into, like, a running back. I'm saying, like, actual quarterbacks who've played in the league. I think, like, Mariota's probably the quickest one. Or Jameis might have had a quicker one than him. I think that was one of the things. But, yeah, I think it was either Jameis or Mariota.
RG3 had a 4.41.
Forgot about that. I think you
what
could
he
run
had.
RG3 time.
RG3 had a 4.41. I
Yeah.
mean, Chris Johnson had an unofficial of 4.24.
Okay, that's
So that
a
would be
running back.
ridiculous. Yeah, but if he hit that, that would be running back speeds from a quarterback. But let us know what you guys think down below. Housekeeping quick at the end because I'm running out of time. Make sure to check out patreon.com/Mosville Podcast. You want to support us. T-shirts are down below in the description. That store link. Make sure to give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and iTunes. And also check out MostValuedPodcast.com. That's where we keep everything for MVP. Want to thank you guys for watching on YouTube. Want to thank you guys for listening on podcast services around the world. And as always, have a good day, everybody.
Quick T-shirt idea, if you could fit this in. Lamar Jackson quicker than we'll just it'll be a Lamar Jackson silhouette and just say it's quicker than Saquon if he runs up at 4.3.